Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. Hey, today was a good day, right? We need a little bit more sunshine. Still watching a storm system just to the south of us at this point, but more heat is about to invade our space. I'll show you when coming up.
You're watching DC News Now at 9. Coming up tonight, breaking news. A tanker truck bursts into flames, sending smoke flying high into the air in Hyattsville, Maryland. We're live at the scene in just minutes.
Conflict resolution is sorely needed in the District of Columbia. We're having minor arguments that turn out with people being shot.
Gunshots go off inside a popular D.C. restaurant. A worker shot multiple times in the middle of the lunch rush. Tonight, the urgent search to find the person responsible. And a police officer gets prison time for assaulting a teenage boy. But is his sentence long enough? Straight ahead, the young victim speaks with DC News Now. And we're following breaking news out of Prince George's County tonight. A tanker truck carrying fuel catches fire, sending a giant plume of smoke into the air. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Flanagan. Basmin Mahfouz has the night off. All right, this photo just in from Prince George's County Fire Department. You see a photo of that tanker truck that was on fire there. You see the tanker just with all the foam around it. This is the area of Queens Chapel Road and 22nd Avenue. We're told the fire has been put out. No injuries reported. We do have a crew headed to the scene right now. A live report coming up in just moments. Also in Prince George's County tonight, we're learning a 15-year-old boy is now in federal custody. He is charged with trying to murder another teen on a school bus earlier this month. The arrest ends a weeks-long manhunt for the teen who goes by Baby K. We're told members of a fugitive task force found Baby K in the Riverdale Park area today. A teen is charged as an adult. Police suspect he tried to shoot another teen multiple times, but the gun jammed. 3 other teens are also in custody facing various charges. Police say they will present more information to the media tomorrow. Of course, we'll bring that to you both here and online at dcnewsnow.com. Developing tonight, police are searching for the man who shot a restaurant worker during the lunch rush today. It happened at Tony's Place in H Street Northeast just after 12:30. Our Mariel Carbone joins us live from police headquarters tonight, where detectives continue to comb through video from that area. And Mariel, police said the victim was taken to the hospital for treatment this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. And police tell us that when they arrived to the scene that victim was conscious and breathing despite being shot multiple times. Now, the owner of Tony's Place said to me, they will be okay. They will be okay, referring to that victim. But we spoke to people who live in the area, and they tell us, unfortunately, this is just the world we live in today.
So I know that Tony's Place is a staple. On the weekends, it's packed.
But Tuesday, it was a different scene. Police tape and flashing lights. An employee shot during the lunch rush.
It's usually very vibrant. I'm surprised to hear that happen, but you know, this is an urban city.
Police say the employee was shot multiple times inside the restaurant after some type of altercation. At this point, it's unclear if it was a customer dispute or not.
It appears to be isolated.
MPD Captain Kevin Kenish was on scene and says people were inside the restaurant at the time. Police are reviewing footage from multiple surveillance cameras in the area to piece together exactly what happened. But
conflict resolution is sorely needed in the District of Columbia. We're having minor arguments that turn out with people being shot.
It's crazy, but I mean, it's the world we live in now.
Lorenzo Samuel, who lives in the area, believes shootings are becoming all too common. As for what can be done about it,
honestly, at this point, I believe there isn't anything that could be done. We've tried all we could as a people. Not nothing we can do. They don't care.
It's sad. It's a social issue. There's so many social programs in place, and there's so much love and kindness that's being spread, but people get through the cracks.
And police do have a lookout out for this suspect. He is a male with a thin build, expected to be about 27 or 26 years old. He has long locks that were up in a bun, and he was wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt and white sneakers at the time. Police are saying if you have any information or if you were inside the restaurant at the time, to call them with that information. Reporting live from police headquarters tonight, I'm Mariel Carbone, DC News Now.
Mariel, thank you. All right, let's get a first check on the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. And Janessa, we're going to have to deal with, many of us at least, with some fog overnight.
Yeah, very concerned about the fog that is going to be developing. Folks, no advisory is in place right now, and you're saying, what is she talking about? Look at all of this cotton candy sky out there. It's absolutely beautiful with the sun starting to set. We do have a little bit of that wildfire smoke that is mixing in at times, and that's why you're getting that kind of pink haze. But I promise you, this visibility in some areas of our region is going to go downhill fairly quickly. Right now, temperatures are still on the mild side, especially Frederick to Leesburg into Westminster. We are dealing with kind of this easterly flow, and when you have easterly winds, we tend to have temperatures that are kind of all over the place, and that's what we're seeing. You have Winchester 63 degrees, and then you head down towards Fairfax County, upper 60s. So location definitely matters at this point. The wonderful news, we're over the rain and we're done talking about that coastal system that's out towards the Carolinas. It's still affecting areas of Richmond across I-95, but you can see how very disorganized at this point it is. Still impacting areas of Fayetteville, if you're familiar with areas of North Carolina, like Charlotte as well. But most of the East Coast is now starting to dry out as that influence of that storm system starts to push offshore. Let's kick off your weekend, your Wednesday, 7 a.m. We're in the upper 50s, 62 around that 9 a.m. hour. But our weather team, our main focus, dew points and temperatures that are going to continue to rise, upper 80s and 90s. Hey, I'll show you in coming up.
All right, in Virginia, a judge is ordering Loudoun County Public Schools to publicly release its independent review of school sexual assaults. For more than a year now, the Northern Virginia school system refused to release its review of 2 assaults in 2021, citing attorney-client privilege. But the judge says that's a violation of the Freedom of Information Act. A 15-year-old boy was convicted of both assaults at 2 different schools. Well, people in D.C. relying on SNAP benefits could see up to a 10% increase next year. The D.C. Council voted unanimously set aside excess revenue to make it happen. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg talked with advocates about how big of an impact this could have on some families. And Daniel, more than 140,000 people in D.C. rely on the program to put food on the table.
Exactly, Chris. This could have a very big impact. After the federal government ended its pandemic-era assistance for SNAP benefits, 90,000 people in D.C. saw their benefits decrease, and now the D.C. Council is stepping in to fill that void.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
With no opposition, the D.C. Council voted to use almost $40 million in excess revenue to supplement SNAP benefits for households qualifying for up to 10% of their federal maximum monthly allotment.
SNAP is really a lifeline for struggling families, for senior citizens, for people with disabilities.
Since pandemic-era funding went away, some families in D.C. have been hurting.
For some, they went from as high as, especially our older adults, went from as high as $283 per month down to the local minimum, which is $30.
I had a DC native senior citizen who called my office after his SNAP benefits dropped down to only $7 a month. And all I could do was, connect him to, other organizations like Bread for the City and mutual aid groups.
If there is enough money, households could see an average increase of $47 a month starting January 1st. That will be temporary, and it's not a sure deal, as this hinges on how much surplus there actually is this September. Chairman Phil Mendelson has his doubts.
The chances of our revenues growing to this magnitude is slim. I certainly support the intent.
Councilmember Janice Lewis-George sees it differently.
We've basically consistently seen that the CFO comes and says our revenue estimates exceed expectations. This has been consistent from year to year.
Now, in addition to the $40 million we just mentioned, the amendment today also included $20 million if there is enough excess revenue for those who are excluded workers in D.C. We're talking about undocumented workers and also those returning from being incarcerated, again, all hinging on if there is enough surplus to cover all of these expenses. We're live in Northwest. Daniel Hamburg, D.C. News Now.
Daniel, thank you. This year's budget is much more lean than previous years, but it preserves some key social programs, including an increase in child care assistance, giving access to 2,000 more families, money for out-of-school programs, and additional funds for Child and Family Service Agency programs. Mayor Muriel Bowser says the budget reflects the city's commitment to its people because there is such an emphasis on social programs.